Mark Henry would say, well, it looks like there's been enough talk. It's time for the main event. Yep, I'm in spirit over here. I see. Woo! I got my pom-poms over here. Woo! I got my megaphone. As Bork Laser would say, you're here. I'm here. Let's do this. And it finally came in the mail over here. For those of you that are watching on Facebook Live or watching the YouTube version of this podcast, of this broadcast, excuse me, I got my Pretty Empowered shirt. Pretty Empowered consisted of Ella Envy and the Page sisters, Kinsey and Kylie. Send a big special shout out to them. There's really something about them that really stands out, but I just can't put my finger on it. But anyway, here we are with another WrestleCade Roundup, and there's some good news and there's some bad news to this. Let's get the bad news out of the way first. The bad news: this year's theme was supposed to be Year of the Dragon, and on the Chinese calendar, 2023 is the Year of the Dragon, and the big headliner is supposed to be Bryan Danielson, the American Dragon, formerly known in WWE as Daniel Bryan, but unfortunately, he had to back out weeks prior. Just a couple of weeks prior, for that matter. And unfortunately, I have no clear clue why. And from what I've been gathering my sources, it's because of an injury, although he's been featured on AEW programming lately, although I admit that I haven't been watching AEW lately, so try everybody fill me in as far as that's concerned, because I've been seeing conflicting sources over here saying one thing and another source saying another thing, so try to fill me in. But as far as I know, it has to do with an injury. But I've been wanting to meet the American Dragon, Bryan Danielson. I've always loved him, even in WWE. But unfortunately, yeah, things happen, and they had to go with the skyline. They were going to have like a dragon in the background of the logo, of this year's logo, but unfortunately, due to Bryan Danielson canceling his appearance, they had to change it to the skyline of Winston-Salem, which is home to WrestleCade and AML Wrestling. But anyway, I had fun nonetheless, which leads me to the good news. The good news is there's one more piece of bad news that I need to bring out, and I want to send a big special shout out to Ty Van Canny, the Tyvillian. He unfortunately had to back out due to personal issues, and I wish him nothing but the best over here. Hopefully we can bump into each other again real soon. But unfortunately, he had to back out due to personal issues, and from the looks of things, he's not going to be making it to the next few WrestleCades, 2024, 25, to say the least. But if you've been to several events with him, he's always bringing piñatas with him. And he's been the piñata guy ever since I met him. And his love for piñatas and making them, it started several years back. And I've known him as the piñata guy. So I want to send a big special shout out to him. The good news is I had fun nonetheless. I had to make several sacrifices left and right, but still, it was all worth it. And there's no better place to start than the very beginning. I was checking in, of course, checking in. I wanted to see Jimmy Hart. Jimmy Hart was doing his podcast, and I think it was a podcast or a special presentation of how we got into business and how how his legacy came to be, and him composing various tunes of wrestlers' theme songs. He's composed music from Ted DiBiase, Bret the Hitman Hart, Shawn Michaels, Sexy Boy, Demolition, the Legion of Doom, previously known, aka the Road Warriors, and even his WCW theme songs, from Diamond Dallas Page to Billy Kidman to the Wolfpack. Wolfpack is back, causing mass destruction. Don't turn your back on the Wolfpack. You might wind up in the body bag. He even talked about his run in the Gentrys, the best known for their hit song, their rendition of "Keep On Dancing." And I want to send a special shout out to my bestest friend in the whole wide solar system, Storm. Storm, if you're listening to this, you're walking oldies encyclopedia. They're a young walking oldies encyclopedia, and they know a thing or two about the Gentrys. And I bet if I bring it up to them, they probably think that that they know Jimmy Hart from the Gentrys. But I know Jimmy Hart from being a manager of various wrestlers and a composer of various wrestling themes from his WWE career to his WCW career. So yeah, and and he talks about his wrestling career. He talks about his music career, how he got in the business, and him composing music for various wrestlers. And one interesting thing to note is that, hey Daphne, how you doing? One interesting thing to note is that when it came to composing music for WCW wrestlers such as Diamond Dallas Page and Raven and Prince Ikea, they're basically his renditions of various theme music, various popular music, such as Diamond Dallas Page, Nirvana. Hey, Daphne, how you doing? When it came to Nirvana, is a knockoff of Nirvana's. Was it Nevermind? It's from the song Nevermind, from the album Nevermind, but it's but it was one of the theme songs over there. And Come As You Are, from another Nirvana song from Raven, and Prince Ikea, Purple Rain, the artist formerly known as Prince. He wanted it. Jimmy Hart asked the wrestlers what they wanted, it's got match the theme and the characters of the specific wrestlers over here, even if it means basing it off already popular music, if you would. So Smells Like Teen Spirit, that's the name of the song. Smells Like Teen Spirit for Diamond Dallas Page. So that's it right there. And he played several theme songs of music that he wrote, including Sexy Boy. He was playing the Honky Tonk Man, but unfortunately there was a malfunction with the sound system, and it was funny. I guess you could say Gunther messed up the sound system, because he claims that he's the greatest Intercontinental Champion of all time, and for those of you that don't know, that have been keeping track of WWE programming, Gunther is now the longest reigning Intercontinental Champion of all time, surpassing the Honky Tonk Man. And I done lost track over here, but he's the longest reigning Intercontinental Champion of all time, Gunther, and I applaud him for that. Absolutely nothing against the Honky Tonk Man, but still, that's a big accomplishment in of itself. And unfortunately, I was planning on going to Teezy's Table. Monteezy, he's an award-winning motivational speaker and hip-hop artist, and he's the co-host of Swerve City, which is a podcast hosted by him and Swerve Strickland, AEW wrestler, because I had to get these accessories over here, and I learned that Pretty Empowered that was going to be in there, but I was just gonna surprise them on that Saturday and that Sunday. But then I get back to the parking lot. I try to find a parking spot, and look who I ran into. Kinsey Page of Pretty Empowered. It almost spoiled the surprise over there, because I had the Pretty Empowered surprise in my car, but she didn't look at my car, thankfully. But still, I thanked her for everything that she's done for the business thus far. She's accomplished a lot. She's shared the ring with wrestling legends such as Juventud Guerrera, which is a luchador icon that I adored when I was growing up during the Monday Night Wars in WCW. And she's shared the ring with Men, the Carnies, for example. But still, she's accomplished a lot, along with her sister, as well as Ella Envy. So she's got a really solid resume. Unfortunately, I didn't get a chance to see any of the Game Changer Wrestling talent, because I arrived too little. I was fashionably late, so to speak. But still, I got what I got as far as photo ops and autographs are concerned, and meeting various wrestlers, such as the Boogeyman. I'm the Boogeyman. I'm coming to get ya. Hey, Icebox, what's going on? Legendary roller derby legend Icebox is here. Bobby Smith, or Robert Smith, I guess, for that matter. Oh, he knows who he is. I didn't expect you to be on here on my Facebook Live over here. What's going on? Can't believe the roller derby legend Icebox is in the house. He was featured. He was even featured on this short-lived show, Rock and Roller Games, if you would, aired from 1989 to 1990. But my first exposure was Roller Jam back in the late 90s, early 2000s. But I digress. But still, after multiple failed attempts, it was such an honor meeting the Boogeyman. And we were reminiscing on his favorite moments from SmackDown, including saying various nursery rhymes. A spoonful of sugar helps the medicine go down in the most delightful way. And London Bridge is falling down, my fair lady. Ah! I love the Boogeyman. He was like, wow, yeah, great memory. And like I said, this was such a treat right there. Multiple failed attempts, but only to land on the Boogeyman right there. Oh my goodness, it was such a treat, such an honor meeting him. And of course, there were kids who were afraid of the Boogeyman when they met him in person. It was like, oh my goodness, bless their hearts. But still, they're gentle giants. But anyway, on that day, I got a chance to pose with Ric Flair's 1983 Starrcade robe. It was even featured on the TV show WWE's Most Wanted Treasures. And it was such a treat. I want to send a big special shout out to those that are associated with Flair's Starrcade 83 robe. And I got a chance to pose with the replica of the NWA World Heavyweight Championship. It was such a treat over there. And they even posted on auction a piece of the robe, like a little scrap, little feather piece of the robe over there. But I digress. Let's get to the results of the GCW, the GCW show. This is my very first GCW Game Changer Wrestling show. We have the following. Unfortunately, I missed the first part of this, but portions of the first match. But still, here's the results. Cole Radrick, Shane Mercer, and One Call Manders, and Charlie Tiger and Alex Prince defeated Sam Stackhouse, Fuego del Sol, Bobby Flacco, Hunter Drake, and Facade. Next match, we have Maki Ito defeating Kylie Alexa, a.k.a. Kylie Page. Yeah, Craig Weber, Boogeyman, was nice to meet him, too. So, yeah. And I was cheering on Kylie, and she was like, shut up, with her snobbish attitude and everything. But that all changed a couple of days later. Or a day or two later, excuse me. But next we have Matt Cardona defeating Speedball Mike Bailey. And one of the running gags on this, and Speedball Mike Bailey being the daredevil that he is, he took a lot of high-risk maneuvers over here. He took a lot of big flip spots, but one of the flip spots that he had, him hitting his foot on either a light or a speaker over there, but still he landed on his opponent over there. But I think his foot took more of that punishment over there. But still, it was a great match nonetheless. And one other thing, Game Changer Wrestling GCW is best known for their ultraviolet wrestling. That's their claim to fame, just like ECW, as well as Combat Zone Wrestling, CZW. ECW stands for Extreme Championship Wrestling. But you get a lot of variety in the mix here and there. But I've been meaning to go to a GCW show, but how lucky for me that I got a chance to see it firsthand here. And one of the wrestlers, Nick Gage, was in the house over at an AEW show. But that was back when Domino's was all up in arms with the pizza cutter spot, which is Nick Gage's weapon of choice. But Jordan Oliver defeated Masha Slamovich, and this is another one. I've always wanted to meet this guy. There's another viral sensation that I've been not wanting to meet, but unfortunately never got a chance. Hey, Kenneth, how you doing? I've always wanted to meet a viral sensation in Santana Jackson. He's best known for he's a Michael Jackson impersonating wrestler, best known for his moonwalk DDT. And if you've seen that video, look how smooth the moonwalk is. And him hitting that DDT in the end. And he also did his Michael Jackson spin. Elbow drop. It's his rendition of the People's Elbow, or the King of Pop's elbow, so to speak. But still, it was a treat seeing him live and in person. Like I said, I didn't get a photo op, but another viral sensation that I did get last year was Luigi Primo, the pizza chef wrestler. And he defeated Action Mike Jackson. He's a legendary wrestler. Never heard of him, but if anybody has heard of Action Mike Jackson, can you let me know? And Richard Holiday defeated Caleb Conley. Insane Clown Bussy, which consisted of Violent J, Ali Ketcheneffi, defeated Ricky Morton, Kerry Morton, and George South. And George South turned on the Mortons when he joined Insane Clown Bussy. He went backstage during mid-match, and then he came back with Insane Clown Posse, Insane Clown Posse paint. So that was a real treat right there. I didn't know George South had it in him, but still. And yeah, of course, Violent J, one member of the Insane Clown Posse. It was outstanding. For the GCW World Championship, Blake Christian defeated Billy Starks. And then Nick Gage came out and issued a challenge to Blake Christian on the future event and trying to get his title back where it belongs, so to speak. And there's something about Billy Starks that really stands out. I could see her in a big promotion like AEW or maybe WWE. Why do I have a real feeling that she's going to be ending up in WWE in the not too distant future? Oh well, but still. And then the main event, Joey Janela defeated Mance Warner, and they tried to pull out some tables over there, but unfortunately the tables didn't break no matter how hard they tried. When am I coming down to see Stars of Wrestling? When is Stars of Wrestling, and where is it going to be? I'm an inquiring mind wants to know. Icebox, can you fill me in, please? But yeah, that's GCW for you. My very first GCW wrestling event, and it took place at WrestleCade. And now we get into the meat and potatoes of it, FanFest. And I can't wait to tell you all about it here. Where do I begin? Well, they had their costume contest, and I came out as the Hand, which Mae Young gave birth to. And for those of you that have watched, the Attitude Era back in WWF, back in the old WWF or WWE, however you want to put it, there was an angle where the sexual chocolate Mark Henry and Mae Young, legendary female wrestler, they had an affair. And Mae Young gave birth to a Hand. And yeah, there was a lot of bizarre things that happened back in the Attitude Era, back in the late 90s and the early 2000s. So it's all available on the WWE Network and Peacock, depending on where you live. So yeah, you'll for the most part, it's all there. I'm pretty sure it's censored for the most part, but oh well. But still, there was a lot of racy things that were going on in the Attitude Era, just like it was in Extreme Championship Wrestling ECW. So you know exactly what I'm talking about. And everyone was trying to figure out who I was, and it took them a minute for some to figure out, but for some, they immediately figured it out. And there are some, especially the younger ones, there were some young female wrestlers that were based off in Florida that didn't know a thing or two about the Attitude Era or a thing or two about what costume I was. And for some of them that tried to figure it out, they were like, I gave them hints. I was like, think back to the Attitude Era. Think back to Mark Henry. Think back to Mae Young. And they figured it out with those hints. So it was interesting. And there are some people that thought that I looked like a hot dog. I was going as a hot dog. Maybe it's because of the way that the hand was folded. It was folded like this, as opposed to this. Unfortunately, the fingers can't move. The thumb can move a little bit. The thumb can move fully, and a little bit of the pinky, but for the most part, the fingers don't move. And my first stop, I had a special present for Pretty Empowered. I was trying to find them, but unfortunately, it took me a few minutes over there, so I just had to get the ones that I already pre-ordered. The bad news is I wasn't unable to get to everybody that was on my list. There were still two people that I pre-ordered that I didn't get to, and those were Tajiri and CJ Perry, formerly known as in WWE as Lana. So that was a major sacrifice that I had to make. And I had to see the Hardy Boys, which I'll get to in just a second here. My first stop was the Lucha Brothers. And I think it was the Lucha Brothers, but I could be wrong. But after multiple failed attempts, I finally met the Lucha Brothers. But the last time that they were at WrestleCade, it was either one or the other. It could be for one reason or another. It could be injuries, this, that, and the other, this, that, and the third. But still, it's such a treat to have one of the greatest tag teams in all of professional wrestling today, and that is the Lucha Brothers, which consists of Penta El Zero Miedo and his brother Rey Fenix. Tag team match player, holla, 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 holla. And yes, Teddy Long was in attendance. I'm surprised that if the Lucha Brothers were in the house, he probably Nash. This is going to be a tag team match player. You go and get the Lucha Brothers, holla, holla, holla. Yeah, I met Teddy Long a few times, so yeah, such a class act in the world of professional wrestling. And I also met Macy Estrella, formerly known as WWE Superstar Lacey Evans, who happened to be former United States Marine. Thank you for your service. And I met Jerry the King Lawler, and this was the third time I met him, only this time he had his his AWA championship. He was a former AWA champion when he worked for Vern Gagne and company. And then I finally met Pretty Empowered. In fact, I recorded their reaction. I love them so much. There's something, like I said, there's something about them that I really like, but I couldn't put my finger on it. And something clicked when it came to one of the Ladies Night Out shows, especially when it came to Envy. I don't know if it was my spirit. I don't know if it was me doing my Spirit Squad vibes to it. But something really stood out to me when it came to Pretty Empowered. And I had to record their reaction. I first saw Kinsey, and I just had to record a video of their reaction. And she took me to the rest of her Pretty Empowered sisters, and I wanted to record their genuine reaction and the nice things that they gave her.
Surprised with this cake and a card and a bunch of waters. And now I love water. And now we have got the surprise over here. The proof is in the pretty. Oh my gosh! You 7-8 now. Oh, Pretty Empowered got a cake today. Woo! Who else got a cake? Not you, that's for sure.
Next, we have Izzy Moreno, Bailey superfan turned professional wrestler, and this is really sentimental over here when we get to Ladies Night Out here because of her match, because this is my first time seeing her in action. This is one of her first matches. And next we have D'Lo Brown. You're looking at the real deal now. Woo! D'Lo Brown, one of if not the greatest European champion of all time, and he immediately knew which costume I was going as. And considering the fact that he and Mark Henry were in the Nation of Domination, he made me an honorable member of Nation of Domination. He does me as his cousin, so that was really fun right there. I'm kind of surprised that he didn't bring his chest protector. What good is D'Lo Brown without his chest protector? You know what I mean? Hey, look who's here. How you doing, buddy? And next we have Conan, K-Dog, the K-N-N-A-N. For Luchador, best known for his appearance here in the States in WCW World Championship Wrestling as part of the NWO. I'm best known to him as part of the Wolfpack, and I basically got every Wolfpack member. I got Sting, Luger, Nash, Hall, even though that hey, Barry, what's going on, buddy? Yeah, I got Sting, Luger, Nash, Conan, Hall, even though that he told me himself that he was going through alcohol problems. And that's everybody. And with the exception of Macho Man, of course, but he passed away back in 2011. So I got every member of the original and best known version of the Wolfpack. And next we have, of course, Baby Doll. I can't go anywhere without Baby Doll. Hey, Melissa, how you doing? Long time no see. And for the first time ever, speaking of Baby Doll, she has her own slam buddy. And I first heard about this, that she was going to have a slam buddy, and so there was no way I was going to let this pass by. And she's best known for being the valet to the Four Horsemen. Woo! Speaking of which, We got Four Horsemen coming up late in just a few seconds here. Next, we have Mandy Sachs, formerly known as Mandy Rose. Had to get her. And then we have the third longest reigning WWE Tag Team Champions of all time behind the New Day and the Usos, talking about Axe and Smash Demolition. And their buddy Crush unfortunately passed away years ago, so rest in peace to him. May he continue to rest in peace. And then we have the super fan of wrestling, Mr. It's Still Real to Me, damn it. I'm talking about David Wills. Always a treat seeing him. And then I just had to get her for the second time, Melina. And she's a five-time WWE Women's Champion. Tell me he didn't just say that. Can you dig it, sucker? All hail Queen Melina. Yeah. And for those of you that are watching the YouTube version of this show, I would just want to put a link over there in the upper card here, because a good friend of mine, Eric Lima of Eric Lima Shenanigans of 1977, is part of a panel of a podcast known as Rant and Rave, and it's on the Bratton Martin channel, and he does episodes on Thursday nights on YouTube, on his YouTube channel. And Eric Lima was part of a panel, and a couple months ago, they had the privilege of interviewing Melina, and so this was a very interesting trade. And this is Eric Lima's big WWE crush, mind you. So Eric Lima, in case you're listening to this, we just wanted to send a big special shout out to you, buddy, and just wanted to throw in that promotional plug right over there with your with Rant and Rave. So just want to throw that out there. And next we have the Problema, Marina Shafir, one of the four horsewomen of the UFC Ultimate Fighting Championship, alongside Ronda Rousey, Jessamyn Duke, and Shayna Baszler. And we all know where Shayna Baszler is, and Ronda Rousey just made her Ring of Honor debut not too long ago. And Jessamyn Duke, she's over here there going with her live streams over here, her gaming channel and all. OK Gamer is the name of it. And I had to get them for the second time, Allison Kay and Marty Bell, the Hex. And, of course, we got Pretty Empowered over there. And then I was the only person that purchased this package. A photo op consisting of various members of the Four Horsemen. Got Paul Roma, Tully Blanchard, Arn Anderson, Lex Luger, and Barry Windham. And if you take a look at my photo, I have, I said before that only the thumb moves in full motion, and I like put my hand over my heart as if I'm saying the Pledge of Allegiance over there, and I had to make it in the form of a Four Horseman. I sent it to Baby Doll, and she was really astonished of that, and it was such an honor getting a piece of wrestling history with the Four Horsemen, because they really laid the groundwork as far as factions are concerned, because without the Four Horsemen, there'd be no DX, there'd be no NWO, there'd be no Bullet Club, there'd be no Evolution, there'd be no, I could go on and on forever with these factions here, these legendary factions, but the Four Horsemen really laid the groundwork when it came to factions, the modern day factions that we know. There'd be no Pretty Empowered for all I care. There'd be no Four Horsewomen of WWE or UFC. And then we have the man who put the NWO on the map and revolutionized WCW when it came to the Monday Night War. So I'm talking about Eric Bischoff, host of his 83 Weeks podcast. And his name's so because he kicked WWF's butt for 83 weeks in a row from late 1996 to early 1998. And last but not least, I had to make several sacrifices over there. That's the bad news. And I had to wait 2.5 hours in line. And I was one of the last ones in line to see a wrestler over here because the cutoff time was 2:30, and everyone was leaving at 3. But the good news was nobody was turned down, nobody was turned away, nobody was left out. We had their word that they were going to get to everybody, and nobody was going to be left out. And so, after multiple failed attempts of meeting the Hardy Boys together, my wish came true. I met Matt multiple times, but never Jeff. So I met Jeff for the very first time. So that in itself is an accomplishment. Mission accomplished right there. And speaking of which, Jeff Hardy had a special concert right after the Super Show. And it was a great treat right there. And I've always wanted to hear his acoustic set over here, so it was fun, absolutely fun. Hey, Jonathan, how you doing? An old childhood friend. Haven't seen him in almost 30 years, 25, 30 years here. And hard to believe it's been over 30 years since we first met. So we go back to kindergarten when I moved over to Pleasant Garden Elementary back in November of 92. So it's a real treat right there. Hope you're doing great, buddy. Hope your Thanksgiving was great. Now we get to the Super Show. Axton Ray, White Mike, Billy Brash, Beer City Bruiser, and Gustavo defeated John Schuyler, Eric Royal, BK Westbrook, and Zuka King and Jack in the opening match. Then we have Seth Claiborne cutting a promo. Then Wardlow interrupted him, powerbombed him, go powerbomb Symphony. And then the piece de resistance was Ron Simmons coming out, Farouk, with his trademark phrase, wait for it. Wait for it. Damn! It was such a treat seeing him. Next, we have Diego Hill, Kobe Carino, and Bojack defeating Alan Angels, Fuego del Sol, and Jordan Oliver. George South defeated Martin Stone. Tajiri defeated Joey Janela. Like I said, I was trying to meet Tajiri, but unfortunately, with me being my main goal, meeting the Hardy Boys, I had to skip him, even though I prepaid, or even though I pre-ordered. Then the Andersons, Brock and CW, with Arn Anderson by their side, and Brittany Marie defeated the Hughes brothers, Terrence and Terrell, alongside their pops, Devon. And it was such a treat seeing Arn Anderson and Devon Dudley going at it in the ring. And, of course, Arn Anderson with his infamous spine buster. Matt Cardona, Brad Attitude, and Steph DeLander defeated Angela Love, Fodder, and EC3. And Fodder turned on EC3. And so EC3 got a title shot in NWA World Heavyweight Championship. Fodder got an NWA World Heavyweight Championship against EC3. EC3, the reigning champion. And this is one of the matches of the night. Andrade El Idolo, with CJ Perry by his side, defeated Speedball Mike Bailey. And, of course, with them doing so many flips and so many luchador moves. Hey, Dwayne, how you doing? And, of course, like I said, there's a running gag to this. Speedball Mike Bailey while he's doing a major flip, a side moonsault. He hit either a speaker or a light. His foot he either hit a light or a speaker. So it was pretty hilarious. It was pretty dangerous but hilarious at the same time. But at least he hit his opponent. That's the main thing. But his foot has seen better days. Then we have the top rope belts battle royale. Violent J was declared the victory. And also in this battle royale was AJ Kazana, Zuka King, Zane Dawson, Alex Taylor, Axton Ray, Yabo the Clown, White Mike, Vampiro, Eric Royal, Silas Mason, Ben Bishop, Caleb Conley, Dave Dawson, Facade, Shane Taylor, Shane Douglas, Rufo the Clown, Ricky Morton, Freeman, Griff Garrison, Rick Garrison, Richard Holiday, Mr. Hughes, Marcus Cross, Madman Pondo, Gustavo, Jay Insane, LT James, Kerry Morton, Casey Kazana, and Johnny Swinger. Next, an international match. Elio Del Vikingo, with Conan by his side, defeated Jacob Fatu. And let me tell you, Jacob Fatu, him coming from the famous Samoan wrestling family, and talking about the Fatus and the Anawais. His athleticism is second to none. Oh my goodness, him doing those insane moonsaults and flips and everything. Oh my goodness, it was so dangerous. Next we had El Problema, Marina Shafir defeating Masha Slamovich. And it's time for the main event. The Hardy Boys, Matt and Jeff, defeated Heath and Rhino. All of them have been in WWE at some point in their careers, and them bringing all their wrestling knowledge and their wrestling know-how and their wrestling experience into the squared circle for the main event. And Matt Hardy, of course, is the inaugural WrestleCade champion, and it's always great seeing Matt Hardy in the ring alongside his brother Jeff. But this was such a blessing. Not because that my last name is Hardy, but because I grew up watching the Hardy Boys on TV, and they always entertained. They always had me at the edge of my seat. And it took them a while for Matt and Jeff to figure out who I was. I gave them those hints, and Matt immediately got it right there as soon as I gave him that hint. So yeah, because they were there. Both Matt and Jeff were there. Another thing I forgot to mention is that on that Friday, the Extreme Life of Matt Hardy, they had a special episode, and that time around they were discussing how the Broken Matt gimmick came to be and the cultural impact that it had in terms of professional wrestling and the power of YouTube, the power of social media, the power of the internet that gave them, that turned it into a phenomenon. Basically, he started off as this big money Matt in TNA or Impact Wrestling, however you want to put it. And EC3 was involved. He was involved in a feud with EC3. And then over time, Matt started acting strange, and he starts going all psycho, and that's where his wife Ruby Hardy came in, and he wanted to have him like a Sweeney Todd kind of looks as far as his looks are concerned. And then threw in something that Matt threw in is that funny accent. Delete. The broken gimmick. And well, the rest was history. And we got the cinematic matches, and if it weren't for the Broken Matt Hardy, there'd be no cinematic matches, especially when it came to WWE, especially when it came to the pandemic, because we had a lot of cinematic matches during the pandemic era. And boy, do I don't want to relive those moments over here. Don't want to relive those days over here. They were unforgiving, but still, they kept us entertaining. And yeah, with the help of everywhere he goes, that it had a cultural impact. Everywhere Matt Hardy went, he was still hearing delete, and his catchphrases and his Broken Matt gimmick. And they spent like several podcasts, one per podcast, talking about each element of the broken gimmick. And you can find it over at the upper card over here if you're watching the YouTube version of it. The link to the YouTube channel, because I caught a few episodes here and there. And now we get to Sunday. Let's go to the people that I met. And yes, I wore this ensemble here. I got the pom-poms and everything. And I tell you, the cheer captain gimmick is coming up, is really catching on. And like I said, after a while, I might as well go ahead and start retiring the fisherman/pirate gimmick altogether here, if this keeps up. First stop is Chavo Guerrero. I've always wanted to meet Chavo Guerrero, and there was no way I was going to let this pass up here. And I've already met Vicky Guerrero, and I've always wanted to meet Chavo. And to this day, he told me to himself, to this day, he still hears, "Ooh, Chavo," everywhere he goes. At the airport, at the grocery store, everywhere. It doesn't matter where he is. He still hears those, he still hears, "Ooh, Chavo." And then I met EC3, the Overman, because, you know why? Because he's over, man. And he was such a class act over here. And I had to get the current reigning NWA World Heavyweight Champion. And speaking of the NWA, they're over here batting 1,000 despite the controversies, the criticism that they get, especially during that Samhain pay-per-view. But like I said, more on that as we give out my closing thoughts. And of course, I got Pretty Empowered Me with the cheering and cheering with the pom-poms and everything. And by the way, before I forget, I want to send a big special shout out to Super Poms for making me these pom-poms here. For some reason, I've always loved the big fluffy palms that they used back in the 70s and 80s as opposed to the ones that they use nowadays. Because ever since I saw the throwback Tampa Bay Buccaneers games back in 2009, I've always loved those. Even before then, I've always loved these big fluffy pom-poms a lot. And you can't see it because it's radio. for those of you that are watching the radio version of this. But if you're watching the Facebook Live or the YouTube version, you see how gigantic that is. And the ladies from Pretty Empowered, they were kind of astonished to see how huge they were. I guess they had never seen palms as huge as they are. You know what I mean? And I got the Renegade twins, Charlotte and Robin. But real quick, while we still have time, let's get through the card here of Ladies Night Out. Unfortunately, I missed these first two matches. Hyena Hera defeated Jasmine Howe, Manny the Baddie, Ivy Malibu, Casey Regan, Amanda Kiss, Selena Rose, Erica Demia, and Lexi Steele. And then triple that tag team match. The Renegade Twins defeated Rochelle Riveter and Maserati and Brittany Jade and Roxy. I was going to get Roxy, but unfortunately I missed her. Too little, too late. Then we have a triple threat match. Mr. Kate defeated Rebecca J. Scott and Emily J. Colin King defeated Caitlin Marie. Pretty Empowered, Kinsey Page. The Page sisters, Kinsey Colley and Ella Envy, defeated Danny Moe, Jada Stone, and Savannah Evans. There's a little bit of a betrayal right there with the latter party, which opened the door for the victory for Pretty Empowered. The Brickhouse Camille, who is getting ready to leave NWA from what I've been hearing, defeated Hollywood Haley J. And I got a feeling that Hollywood Haley J is going to be ending up in either a big company, whether it be AEW or WWE. But I got a feeling that she's going to end up in WWE at some point in her career. But I digress. Janai Kai defeated Clara Carter and JC Storm in a triple threat match. Tag team match, the Hex, Marty Bell and WrestleCade. They done threw my pom-poms. I didn't know they were heels at the time. They were tossing my pom-poms all over the place. They defeated Bullets of Bourbon, which consists of Amber O'Neal and Jessie Bell Smothers. For the Bishop Pro Wrestling Championship, Tiffany Nieves defeated Izzy Moreno. And let me tell you, Tiffany Nieves afterwards cut the promo saying that Izzy has earned the respect of Tiffany Nieves and the entire locker room. And she told her, don't let anybody tell you that you don't belong here because you are the future of the business. And she got all choked up over here, and it was a very touching moment. And she's right. She really is the future of the business. And I wish her nothing but the best in her career. And by the way, congratulations on her receiving her blue belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. We wish her nothing but the best. Then Cy Brookside defeated Basher Slam. Sue Young defeated Allie Ketch via disqualification. Freddie Slater defeated The Woad. And for the Ladies Night Out Championship with La Rosa Negra, special guest referee, Angelica Riss defeated Renee Michelle. And last but not least, AML Wrestling the day after. Gustavo defeated Logan Quindell, Marcus Cross, and Richard Holiday in a failed four-way match. Triple threat tag team match. Zuka King and Jack defeated Diego Hill, Bojack, and the Hughes brothers, Terrence and Terrell. Jacob Fatu with his athleticism defeated Martin Stone. AML tag team match. The Dawsons retained their title against the Skyline, Eric Roy and BK Westbrook. And then the Scott Ellen Memorial Battle Royale. I thought it was going to be a Royal match, but it ended up being a Battle Royale. The Beer City Bruiser emerged victorious against Seth Clayton Burns, J.R. Miller, Shane Taylor, Bojack, Gustavo, The Zenith, Clara Carter, Duke O'Connor, Silver Fox, and Facade. Through an elimination match for the AML Prestige Championship. White Mike, who, by the way, is a Triple Crown champion as far as I know. White Mike retained his title against Colby Carino and John Schuyler. Into a World Heavyweight Championship match. EC3 retained his title against Fodder with Angelina Love by his side. And as EC3 was making his way back to the back, he was like, "Hey, Captain, thank you." And he kissed my bald head. Not exactly bald head, but close-shaven head. But you get the idea. I mean, it made me feel good. Oh, my goodness. Go Will Hobbs, yeah. Icebox. And fair forward match for the AML Championship. Brad Attitude retained his title against Billy Brash, Axel Ray, and C.W. Anderson with Brittany Marie by his side. And then the hardcore match. There ain't no AML Day After show without any hardcore match that involves George South, especially with him wrapping himself in barbed wire. He defeated Joey Janela to round out the weekend. And that, my friends, is my weekend for this year's WrestleCade. I can't wait to see what they all have in store real soon, because each show, each event one-ups the previous one. Now, let's face it, we're never going to be all on one accord when it comes to our favorite types of wrestling and our favorite wrestlers and favorite wrestling shows and wrestling promotions, etc. Especially now, I've just become a very big fan, starting getting into the NWA, the National Wrestling Alliance. But when it came to the backlash that it received from the dirt sheets that, they lost their deal with CW. But let me tell you, William Patrick Corgan knows what he's doing. And they, as far as I know, they're getting they have their CW app. They're on the CW app. Many people think that the controversial Samhain spot that they did ruined their chances and ruined their deal. But William Patrick Corgan knows what he's doing. As far as I know, they got the app, and at least 2 or 3 territories are now part of the NWA territories, and he wanted to revive the territory, or if you would. And I just recently received word. In fact, I received word this morning that Joe Kazana Promotions is now in NWA territory. So big congratulations as far as that's concerned. But let's face it, we're never. But I got tons and tons of faith of the NWA, especially when it comes to Pretty Empowered over here. Woo! But we're never going to be, like I said, let's just face it, we're never going to be on one accord when it comes to our likes and dislikes as far as our favorite types of wrestling, our favorite wrestlers, and favorite promotions, wrestling shows, etc. here. But one thing for sure is that when it comes to events like this, such as WrestleCade and maybe WrestleMania Fan Access or WrestleCon or The Gathering, we come together as one, and that's the shared love for professional wrestling. And it also compels me to keep on watching wrestling and explore other wrestling promotions, such as Beautiful Ladies Oil Wrestling. You've heard the Glow Show, right? But I've heard of this event, this promotion known as, please forgive me for saying this, but it's called the Blow Show, Beautiful Ladies Oil Wrestling. They were going to be starting their promotion, their new season, if you would, on in mid 2020, but due to COVID, they basically were shut down. But it wasn't until like a little over a year or two ago that they're rising from the ashes here, and I can't wait to explore some new promotions right there. But the point I'm trying to make here is that events like WrestleCade and WrestleMania Fan Access and The Gathering and various wrestling events, we come here to unite as one. It's a chance to put all of our differences aside and loving the things that we love. Because when it comes to wrestling, how can we love the things that we love if we drain all our energy bashing the things that we hate? You know what I mean? If we continue to bash the things that we hate, what do we love? You know what I mean? That's what I'm going to leave you with. That's the thing that I'm going to leave you with here.